Hi, welcome back, everyone. During our session, we were working through translating a 3D terrain example from the Mapbox documentation. Didn't quite get it working during the live session, so I wanted to step you through how we can get a live terrain example working and even kind of layer some data over it. So let's go ahead and step through that live. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to be looking at the R script that we were working through during the session. So the goal, as a reminder, what we're trying to do is we are looking to reproduce this example in Mapbox GL JS and use it in mapgl. And so what we're going to do is step through this step by step so we can create exactly this visualization. So when we're looking at translating this code, we see where the map is initialized. And the map is initialized with a zoom of 14, a center of -114 and 32, a pitch of 80, and a bearing of 41 using the satellite street style. So let's go ahead and initialize our map the exact same way. So I'm going to copy over the center so we remember it. And let's do Mapbox GL style equals Mapbox style satellite streets. Our center is going to be the same coordinates that were used by Mapbox. The zoom level is 14. And the pitch and the bearing, pitch is 80 and bearing is going to be 41. So we'll do pitch equals 80, bearing equals 41. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like as we run it through. And so we see here that it is picking up on the correct location, but we don't have that 3D terrain exaggeration. So we're going to need to add that. And to do that, what we're going to do is add a raster DEM source, but we're going to make sure that we do it exactly the way that is specified here with type, URL, tile size, and max zoom. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add the source with add raster DEM source. The ID is going to be, frankly, we can call it whatever we want, but we're going to call it Mapbox DEM. And then we're going to match these arguments. So the type is inferred from the raster DEM source function. The URL is going to be exactly this URL here. So we're going to copy paste that over. And we're going to be sure to put in the same options as in the Mapbox example. So tile size of 512 and max zoom of 14. Perfect. So this adds the source to the map. We can try running this through, and still we don't see any exaggeration because we haven't actually set the terrain. And so what we need to do is invoke the set terrain method. And that method is invoked here with an exaggeration of 1.5 with the Mapbox DEM source as the source. So let's give that a try. Our source is our Mapbox DEM. And our exaggeration is 1.5. So let's give this a shot. Now we have that 3D view. So this was something where we have taken the information, and hopefully this is helpful when you're trying to translate over the GLJS documentation over to mapgl. But what we have here now is a nicely rendered 3D example. And so we can zoom out a little bit and see what we're talking about. This is in kind of parts of Arizona here, parts of California. And so a question that we got in the session was, can I layer my data over this? And this is a really interesting question that we can take a look at. And the answer is absolutely you can. You would do it the exact same way that we covered in the workshop. So Let's go ahead and grab an example. Because we're looking here at Arizona, let's grab an example of census tracts for Arizona. So I'm going to go in here and using the Tigers package, we're going to grab some census tracts. So I'm going to do AZ tracts is results of the tracts function for Arizona with the argument CB equals true. You're going to learn all about this in the workshop on August 15th. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, grab that data. And now I'm going to add that data as a semi-transparent overlay so I can see my census tracts over the terrain. So how do I do that? I'm going to grab this code, and then I'm going to add a fill layer. So I'm going to do add fill layer. I'll give it the ID of tracks. The source is going to be my AZ tracks. Let's give it a fill opacity of 0.5. And let's do the tooltip as the name column. So let's go ahead and try this out and see what we get. I'm going to run this through, and you'll see that what you have is a black overlay where we see all of those census tracts now in Arizona. But if we zoom in, they appear over that 3D overlay. And as I hover around, what you're getting is the results of the name column in the data set. So that's the name of the census tract. So if I type here AZ tracts, you can get a feel for what that's showing you. The name is the name of the census tract here. So 16.02, 17.01. In theory, we could put anything else in there. But going back to the viewer, I now have a 3D view as I zoom in of my census tracts around Arizona. So feel free to try that out, and I look forward to seeing you all at the next workshop.